Okay. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to a really informal get together of Celeste and I. We are both light workers and we talk all the time on the phone and have really amazing conversations. And then every time after we talk on the phone, we think, damn, we should have made this a podcast or we should have shared this with other people because so many of the things that we talk about are also things that other light workers are going through or are struggling through. And then cool tidbits to know about what's coming up, what we're seeing for the future, because we both have intuition that can see into the future. And so I thought, what better way to just share this with you guys than to just record the things that we catch up on, and then we can upload this onto YouTube, and then everybody can enjoy it. Hi, Celeste.
Hey,
I
ignore the reflection. Like it's absolutely. Anyways, good to
don't
see
even
you
notice that.
twice.
Do you have anything to add to that before we dive right in?
No, we just want to Kiki and I talk constantly, and what we're noticing is everything that we are talking about whenever we talk to also anybody else, we're not the only ones. What we're feeling, what we're sensing, what we're visioning, the downloads that we're getting are not isolated to the two of us. And we want to be able to make sure that all of you, anybody listening to this, is also so you don't feel alone. You are not the only one experiencing this. And if there's anything that we can share and articulate to make you realize that this is a global thing happening with all the light workers right now and that we're all experiencing this, we just want to hold some space and have some dialogue and share more of what we're witnessing.
Yeah. So we do have some structure to what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to start off with talking about some of the ascension symptoms that have been happening as of lately. Um, the fact that there have been like another 5 levels to the illusion that have dropped. We're going to go into how the dark forces are losing their power, but how they're doing like a one last sort of jab at trying to stay in power and what they're all doing to keep us down, and why that is. We're going to talk about why. And also, we're going to get a little bit into politics just because there's such a polarizing energy around it right now. There's lots happening in Canada, especially um, paralleling to what was happening in the States. And for a light worker, from our perspective, the economy, the politics of the new earth, what that looks like, and how it kind of jives or does not jive with what's happening right now. And then we're going to talk about the new earth economy. So we're gonna start off with what's happening right now, and then we're gonna go into what's going to be happening into the future. I got a very intense vision the other day that I wanted to share with you and everybody. What the economy is going to look like, what's going to happen, how the new grid is going to be interlaid into the new Earth, or how the new Earth grid is going to be laid into this one. And we can also maybe talk a little bit about different timelines. And then Celeste, you brought up a really good point on your Instagram today, that I want to finish off with. Your question was, when do you know when you're the creator of your own reality, and then when do you let go and let God, kind of thing, right? Okay, so I want to finish
Yeah.
because I think
Okay.
that's a good point. So let's talk about the symptoms as of lately. Celeste, what have you been going through lately? What kind of ascension symptoms?
Well, I'm usually in a I'm in alignment. I feel just like I'm usually just feeling good. I live in a hot country, so yeah, I get affected by the heat and stuff, but um I've been last week something happened that just I mean my perception of what I think happened last week is I feel like there was a spiritual attack on any of the light workers out there. I don't think it was just us. I think that we are about to round the corner of a big shift that is happening for the globe and for humanity. And it is sensed, it is seen from higher ups. They are aware. And I don't know the means. You might have insight into that. I don't know the means of what they did, but I just sensed this blast that happened. And it shook me. out. And all of a sudden, in this place of like frustration and anger and just wanting to give up and retreat back to like, I'm fucking done. Let's just go back to their system. Let's just go back to how they do things. I mean, that's was kind of even the indicator of knowing that this came from them because the feeling guidance was like, just come back to what you know, come back to 3D, come back to the Matrix. We've got
Mhm.
you here. This is the only place you're going to have success or get what you want or anything. And so that was an overall feeling. And I woke up one morning and I always wake up in the morning and my husband's there. And all of a sudden he had felt the exact same thing. I get the same message from Kiki. There was another girlfriend that like verbatim basically described exactly how I was feeling. So it was just like one after another, we're all describing the exact same things. And then a day later, I woke up with a headache, which, so the physical symptoms, I don't get headaches anymore. I woke up with a headache. And then even 2 hours later, I felt like out of nowhere, I was just going to throw up. Like I was nauseous and just going to throw up. And it was just, that was new for me. And I'm still trying to actually shake it. It's been like today has been a day where I am just like, fuck it all and ready to surrender again. And I feel like giving up. And what's the point of it all?
Mhm.
So they hit us hard with whatever happened.
Yeah.
What about you?
They have been hitting us hard. There has been a lot of increase in psychic and spiritual attacks since November, actually, I've been hearing. Since November, it got a little bit better around Christmas time and then hit hard again in January. Lots of psychic attack and yeah, so waking up, I've been hearing myself included, I've been waking up with underlying anxiety, not circumstantial, not situational, where it's not, you can't pinpoint it to anything specific. It's just like this underlying current of impending doom. The whole
Hmm.
you can't beat 'em
Like
joint.
you're sick to your stomach? Like kind of
Yeah,
like you're
it's just
sick to
like
your
you wake up
stomach?
in the morning and you're like, oh, like another day in the 3D matrix. Like you just want out. This
Hmm.
feeling of being in like an earth prison where we know better, we want to operate on a better system, we want our bodies to operate on a better system, but we just feel like we're stuck here. There's no point. The giving up that has been coming across for me as well, and a lot of other people that I've been talking to. This like sense of just like waking up and like fighting the machine every day. It feels like we're alone, feels like we're not supported.
Hmm.
And I think everybody, especially here, yeah, the whole dropping into old patterns, is has also been like a temptation for a lot of people. Whether
Mm.
that be like drinking to numb yourself, or smoking weed to numb yourself, or just sitting on the couch and watching Netflix, or some people are not even getting out of bed. Like I was talking to my one of my receptionists, and she's like, I don't even want to get out of bed in the morning. She's like, I don't want to pull, I want to pull the covers over my head and just stay there. And a lot of people are doubling up on antidepressants and anti-anxiety medication and pill popping lately. It's going around everywhere. And almost everybody that I talk to is just feeling this, we're not okay. Something's not okay. And this anxiety. And then especially here
Yeah.
in Canada, people are so fed up with paying taxes. We're one of the highest taxed countries in the world. And people are so fed up with the economy. And there's a lot of political polarization that's happening as well. So I have also been getting downloads about what they are using to keep us down. So they're playing the political game, which is exhausting for light beings because we already know that the politics, if you even want to call them that, I hazard to say use the word government because in the new earth, I believe that we're going to have a paradigm, a structure come in, but it's not going to be conservative versus liberal or Dems versus Republicans. It's these are two wings of the same bird. And for light workers, it's extra exhausting to see this political saga continue and people swinging to one end of the pendulum and the other, and everybody's going along for the emotional ride and the turbulence and the polarization. I mean, people are angry and hostile at one another on the street. It's hard for a light worker to see this, knowing that the new Earth paradigm, this is this is such an old dated system. So it's like we still have
Yep.
to be here and play the game and be in it, but we have know from a higher perspective it's going to look nothing like this. So it's extra exhausting for the people that are like, I don't even want to play this game anymore.
Well, I think to watch the energy, I think like it is exhausting to watch how much of people's energy goes to it.
Hmm.
Like they have curated a machine and it is very well done because we watch these people spend their conversation and their energy and even the fact that we're talking about it.
Hmm.
Like, I mean, it's prevalent, it's real, but I it's also a weapon.
It is a
It's
weapon.
one of the biggest things they have right now
And
to
so
keep us all off our game.
And so they are using weapons. I heard Elizabeth April the other day refer to the powers that be as the powers that were. And I like that. She has been referring to the powers, the controllers, as the powers that were. And that means that they're losing control. They are losing control and they're trying everything that they can right now. So they are, I've been getting a lot of downloads about them using frequencies. They're using the
Hmm.
5G as weaponry. They're using frequencies in music and television, um, in movies, even. I see
Mm,
that the movie, whatever, The End of the World or something that was produced by Obama, there was a audio specialist um, that took all the audio files and separated them. And there's usually only three, two or three. There's four. And the other audio was all dark tones that were just mind fucking people. There's a frequency that they played that whole movie long that after you watch that video, you felt fucked up. So they're weaponizing frequency in everywhere that they can stick it. The political games and the chemtrails. You can't be in a beautiful day without seeing the chemtrails in the sky. So they're also using, yeah, the 5G. They're ranking, like they're turning those up at nighttime to microwave people between 2 and 3 in the morning usually. You can see the maps of radiation across North America, the blue radiation that's happening. So that's active during the nighttime. And this is actually talked about in Senate. I seen a video recently where they were talking about the what this weaponry is designed to do. And in Senate, the man that was knew about this type of weaponized information, he said it's is designed to work gradually and slowly at making you feel like you're going insane. And I thought, wow, well, isn't that all of us?
hmm.
So they're trying everything right now to keep us down. And I think, so you were the one that asked me if you shine bright and if you're a light worker, do you think that they have the technology to, see your light and then go extra hard to dim it? And I said, yeah, have you never seen the video of the movie The Dark Tower, with Matthew McConaughey? And they actually harness the light energy. They call it shine. And they specifically for about kids. So kids that shine too bright,
Hmm.
indigo children, children have special abilities. They have the technology to see them and harness their shine. So I totally think it's out there. I think it is definitely possible they have that technology to see that. And I think that's what they're trying right now. I think you're right
Hmm.
that part of the thing, I mean, I've heard so many people over the last few years being like, oh, something big is going to happen. Something big is going to happen. Something big is going to happen.
I know. A lot of people are waiting for something.
They're waiting. And I'm like, I don't, I
I don't know.
But it's like hooks you, it hooks you, it hooks you, it hooks you. And so people are just getting dragged along for the bait. Um,
Well, and they have. I mean, what? We saw the drones, that was one thing. And then disclosure was supposed to come. Like, I mean, they have
well,
been baiting us, right? Like we did. We're like this week. They were like disclosure this week. And the thing is that even when, even if, or what, like when they do speak about all this, life just continues on.
yeah.
No one says, "Hey, wait, sorry, we're all not going to talk about that." No, just carrying on. And I think like nothing frustrates me more. Like we're we're like it's out, the fact it's out. Like, you know what I mean? Like CIA killed their own president. Like it's a fact. It's all been
Yeah.
released, but we're not going to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, the stuff that is getting released is not making headlines. And from a spiritual perspective, I know you and I have talked about how eye-rolling and annoying it is that this eclipse is gonna, mean everything. And then, cool, burn a journal or something and not a lot happens. This solar something is gonna just be
Oh, I know.
everything. And then it dates all the way back to 2017, I think, when the Q files came out that, this is gonna happen, and this March something big is gonna happen, and in August something big is gonna happen. And it's just, we've been baited this whole time. So I think that a lot of people are noticing that, and I've been noticing the pattern and are like, yeah, I'm not really reacting to anything anymore because nothing seems to change, which I think is
Okay.
really a good thing because it's shifting the onus on the person that they just create their own good reality and not.
Well, this is where I'm frustrated though. Like this is what also is frustrating me is because I do know that this is how it works, right? We know that they have built this world. We know that it has been programmed this way for thousands of years. And so all of us light workers were like, we'll go down. Let's be part of the shift. That looks fun. Let's go. Like again, what were we all thinking?
Yeah.
Um, and so at the same time as watching them implode and do what they're doing, we've also then decided to be like, and we're going to be part of the solution. And we're going to figure out where we're going as well. Like, and I feel like we're like the timelines have split, the 3D and the 5D timelines have split. We've talked about that before. But I feel like right now it's almost like putting our money where our mouth is. It's like I'm feeling this sense where I am getting tested to do you really believe that you're going to go and build this new timeline? And can you disattach for real from the system that has been built? So it's like I would much prefer to just have a big event happen. That would be great. Just bring a big event in, wake more people up. We can just go see. Okay, that's great. That's done. And so part of me thinks, well, will that happen? Or is this going to just take for fucking ever? And it's like all of us slowly grinding away, building, blah, 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 blah.
And
And
are
it's
we
going to take decades and decades. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm in for that. Like, I
are
don't know.
we
Like,
gonna see
this is
the
a lot of fucking work to stay in alignment and to stay in frequency and to put our visions where our mouth is and to actually walk the walk of the very thing we believe to be true. And like, I know I'm not from this planet. I know I came here with a big mission. I know my light is seen, and I know I am to embody the new way of what we are, but I'm not feeling any like this is what's happened in this last week, even where I'm like, you and I were like, hey, we're ready for you to do your part now. Show us that this is exactly what's going to go down. Give us a little bit of evidence. I don't need it all to be figured out. I'll keep walking on this path, but please give me some. And
yeah,
I feel like I'm a little hung out to dry right now and a little bit like
a lot of light work.
not like you're on your own, but I'm not, I don't know. Like,
Well, I 100% know what you mean. I think a lot of light workers feel that way, especially because we've been baited. it's like, hang on, something's going to happen, something's going to happen, this next thing, this next thing, this next thing, and nothing is really happening. We've been doing the internal work to anchor in the new earth paradigm, to orient our thinking as to, the abundance timeline, the 5D consciousness, and all of that. And it just seems like the rest of the world is not catching up. And so it seems like, what are we doing here? And sometimes I've questioned myself too. Like, the universe has, in these last couple months, has been basically saying the same thing to me. Do you actually believe in this? And it's like, well, yeah. It's like, do you actually though? And it's been a hard question to answer because of everything that, a bit, you can't help that you do feel that way in your heart. The light
Yeah,
workers
I
that
know. I know.
here to do this work have this inner vocation that they cannot explain, and they just wake up every single day with, just doing it all over again. And there's a lot of us. There's a lot of us that feel this way. Um, yeah, I forget what I was gonna say to touch on the rest of it. But
I
this is
feel like they're trying to break us right now, though, of that. There's something happening, and it's why I think that there's a shift that's about to happen because I feel like they're really trying their hardest to have us doubt. And
they are.
it's like I don't need external validation, but if I'm in a relationship with God, because he is me, because not even he, but God is me, I am God, I am universe, I am creation, and this is why I am here, is to create, then I do need that relationship mirrored back, that the commitment I've made and the work that I do when I sit in complete surrender and complete trust of the unknown. Like, I realized today, I was crying in the river today, and just like, I realized I'm scared because I have basically thrown up my hands and I have been like, I have been guided now. It's been like 2 years plus of just being guided. And I don't believe that what I am being guided is wrong. I believe that it is right, but there's also not much telling me that it's correct, if that makes sense. So it's like you open yourself up to be guided, you trust, you follow your nudges, which means you're not in resistance, you're in fucking flow, you're going down the river, you're like, take me and guide me, and I'm just following my heart. At times, I would like some validation and maybe some checkpoints
Mhm.
along the way. Like, yes, here's a little granola bar on the way. Yeah, here's a bathroom break. And it's like, so today I was just like I almost like giving up, but also like, I, how can I surrender more? And so it's leaving me in this space where either I am consciously creating, because I believe that we are conscious creators at all point and we get to choose our own reality. And then the other part is me, I'm like, is there just a higher purpose plan for me? And I just have to fucking throw my hands up and say, okay, then I give up and let's see how this unfolds.
Yeah.
And in the interim, I felt scared. Like, I felt scared because there's a part of us, the human part of us, that wants to know. Well, we do want to know where we're going. We do want some kind of response and answers and validation. And that's just being human. And
It's such
it's,
a weird place to be right now, and I want to acknowledge that. And I've also, my girlfriend, another girlfriend of mine was just telling me the same thing, and I said the same thing as well. It is basically, so funny enough, she's talking to her ChatGTP about surrendering and everything, and it was writing out all, all this stuff for her, and she just hit this point where she was speechless, and all she could write was, "I'm scared." And I have felt that too. I'm scared because it's such a weird place to be. I've heard of individual basis where this has happened, where somebody trusts God and surrenders and then is blindly leading by faith. They don't know. They're walking in the dark and just getting one step as they take it. And that's a really exhausting place to be. because your nervous system wants to have some sense of security. And
Mm.
when you look at the systems crumbling and nothing is secure anymore in this world, nothing is real, everything is a lie. Hollywood's a lie, all the movies are a lie, the politics are a lie. This whole thing we are actually
History.
your history, we're all actually dismantling that this is a simulation and it's a hologram and it's all designed to keep us enslaved. And that is part of the biggest thing that everybody is going through right now. The other thing that I noticed when you were talking was just a lot of people asking, am I just here doing this work to do the work and there's no real end game to it? And I might not even see the fruits of my labor until, generations here. And then I'm just, bringing all my energy and all of this into creating the new earth paradigm. But like, are there no markers of like any big news, any big bombs to drop, so to speak? And I want to speak to that because I have seen a lot of visions, and I have also heard of a lot of other psychic predictors, new earth channelers saying that 2025 is going to be a year of polarity, but there is like this first sort of wave of ascension that is happening. And so I think that's what you're tuning into when you say there's something big happening for those of us that have been doing the fucking work. Um, in 2027, again, something big shifts. And if we line it up to the 2030 agenda of the own nothing and you'll be happy, and that's when the dark forces want, their whole game plan in set in stone. They actually have a 2030 agenda. It's not a conspiracy theory. And they want all of these things in line by then. And it's basically like that's when they want world dominance takeover. That's their end game. So I think that we will go through it for the next 5 years, which is exhausting because flip that back and it's only been, it's been 5 years since COVID and this all flipped upside down. And now we're in the midpoint of it and we're getting tired to think that there's another 5 years now till 2030. It gets exhausting. But I do see that after that, things are going to shift.
I do too. I
Do you
know.
see at some point, and this maybe kind of ties into the vision that I had, because I haven't tuned into the Earth Collective lately a lot. I've been dealing with a lot of my own stuff, and been when I tune into my meditations, it's tuning in for me. But I did tune into the collective and see if I could channel any messages for humanity the other day because I was like, okay, like politics are crazy. Canada is off its rocker. People are fed up. People are hostile. Everybody that I know is scared, is tired, does not want to come out
Yep.
of bed, is like, should I just numb myself like the rest of them do? Or should I just continue to like bang the drum of this envisioned reality that my heart knows and believes so much so in, but it has not yet manifested. And a lot of people are telling me that they don't even see it at all. And then there's a lot of light workers that are saying, no, we see it, but it just hasn't manifested yet. It's a weird fucking place to be. And it's in limbo and it is exhausting. So maybe this is a good time to share the vision that I saw
Yeah, go for it.
of
Yeah. I,
kind
I'm
of,
totally with you. I just want to validate that though. This work, like I know everything I've asked for is on its way. I know it's already mine. I know it's on a timeline. I'm almost at that timeline. Like I'm aware of all that. But anybody that then also like you get this thing is that I'm tired of people also being like, well, you're so lucky. Like even people saying that about your life or saying that about my life and what we embody. And you're like, you have no idea the work I do every day to stay in alignment.
yeah, I'm like, you can't
And
even meditate for 5 minutes. You tell me I can't meditate. I sit there and meditate for 2, 3 hours sometimes.
it's not even about like I'm also kind of tired of this like it's not about high frequency people. It's not about ignoring how you're feeling. That's not what this is. This is not about always feeling good. But the work is actually about the fact that as you and I even have these days of total frustration and like that we feel the anxiety, we tune in.
Yeah.
That's the work. It's not that you ignore it to change it to a higher, different state. It's the fact that you take it on. And you go, okay, does this have to do with this? Does it have to do with this? Does it have to do with this? Okay, well, let's see what passes through. Okay, feeling it out, feeling it out. And that's what the meditation turns into. The
Yeah.
meditation is allowing the emotions to come to the surface to pass through to see what they need to be alchemized into.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're doing that on your own, and sometimes you have people to support you to do it, but it can feel very isolating and very frustrating because a lot of what we're even feeling and those energies are not even always just ours. So you're also going, is that even my work? Is that my shit? Or is that even the collectives? Is that fucking humanities? Am I tuning in to all the other stuff that everyone else is going through? And it's like you feel that weight and the responsibility we have to the visions that we keep getting. There is a responsibility. Like it would be easy to just, I'm
Not.
out. I'm
I know.
out.
The other morning,
Adios. Us not filming this, us not showing up for this conversation. I'm going to go watch TV. I'm out.
yeah.
Like, yeah, would that be freaking a lot easier? Yeah, it would. And yet we keep showing up, and that is the work and all on our beliefs. And so, yeah, let's share what you've been seeing.
Yeah, I totally get that. The other morning I woke up and I just felt so anxious. And Eric's like, "Why do you feel so anxious?" And I was like, "It's just such heavy energy from the collective right now. It's just so much energy to transmute." And like he doesn't
Hmm.
really know. He just wakes up. Thank God he wakes up kind of just like ready to go to work. Because if it was both of us that were feeling this way, like we'd just be sitting here like, ah. But as we're different people. We're stationed here to do different things, and you and I are stationed here to be healers. And so we will feel the collective energy, and we will feel the responsibility to transmute it, which is
Yeah.
a tough gig. Um, but here's the vision that I saw where I think this is speaking about the economy turning around. Um, So I seen this vision. I tuned into the New Earth Collective of like, okay, what is going to happen here? I saw, and this is really weird because I don't usually see alien stuff. I don't usually see like ET type stuff. I'm not really one to communicate a lot with the ETs. But I did see in my vision a really big mothership that came down and like big spaceship, big mothership that came down. And the only people that were able to recognize that mothership and the beings on it as benevolent beings that were actually here to help humanity were the people that have already had some kind of interaction with ETs or understood that there are benevolent ETs that want to help humanity, the Galactic Federation of Light, the Galactic Federation, um, or or even just encounters with metaphysical beings as far as like spirit guides and that kind of thing goes, like their mind is open enough to know. Those would be the people that would, walk right up and know that these are here to help us. Other people would be, scared shitless because they've been programmed by movies to think that aliens are bad, right? So these are the people that feel the truth and feel an attraction to these beings, knowing that they're here to help. These beings had the blueprints. They're like, hey, we have the blueprints for free energy. We have the blueprints to clean up the oceans. We have the blueprints to design your cities in a way where there is this energy flow, where, buildings are positioned in a harmonized way. We have the blueprints to, of every single level of corruption that has been infiltrated into these deep, deep, deep areas. However deep it goes, they have the blueprints to undo all of that. But to undo all of that is going to take a lot of like manpower. They're going to give us sacred technology. I saw the blueprints for med beds, for free energy, for travel. I saw like we're going away with airplanes. And do you notice that all of these systems right now are crumbling? The airplanes
Yep,
are
you're
starting
right.
on fire. The
Yep.
transportation system is going out the door. The healthcare system is fucked. The energy. I mean, we're going over to EVs and it's just causing all sorts of issues. Like it's all fucked. So these are the blueprints that I saw that these ETs have that are going to be like, we've got the blueprints. And all of the people that feel like they have a calling on their life, that they're here to do something big, they don't know what. And I talk to a lot of people on a daily basis. And there are so many people that I meet, even up to like 67 years old, where they're like, I still feel like I'm meant to do something really big in my life, but I don't know what. They feel this calling. Those are the people that are going to show up and want to help and want to carry out these things. And they're going to be so willing and ready to help. Like whatever their area of expertise is, that is what they're going to be like, yes, yes, yes. And that's what's going to shift the economy because there's a lot of work that's going to have to be done. There's a lot of people that are going to be needed to carry out these blueprints and to reverse the things and to heal and to, get this economy going. That is going to be the future economy. And the people that are working in that economy to bring out carry out these blueprints that these benevolent ETs gave us. What was I going to say? Uh, yeah, it's gonna be a lot of people, and they're gonna wake up with like a hard on every day for their life because they're like, finally, I get to be paid for my passion, and there's a shit ton of other people. You can see the tides turning now that this is all being used for good, and I'm doing good, and you're doing good, and you're helping humanity, and I'm helping humanity, and it's gonna be a completely different feeling than being this lone wolf fighting against the machine. And this whole illusion too of people thinking that they're doing good and they're not doing good at all. Like there's people in power right now that think they're doing good and they're not. So
Yeah.
there's going to be this knowing that these blueprints are coming from beings that already know how to fix this, that already have things figured out. And so that was the vision, that I was gonna generate this economy,
So,
and that idea of wealth coming back into the hands of conscious beings, and for that wealth to be used and that economy to keep going and start fixing things, that's where this vision then ended.
I love it.
But
I love
that's
it.
ah,
It's beautiful. I think too, like the point of that too is I agree. There's a lot of people, because even for me, for years, I was like, what's my purpose? What's my purpose? Like, and it can feel like a lot of you can put a lot of pressure on yourself. So there's a lot of people that are like, I know I'm meant for more. So then 100% you are part of the solution of where we're going. And then you put pressure on yourself because you think you have to have it figured out. You do not. And I just explained this to somebody the other day. My purpose found me after just years of just showing up for myself and doing inner work. That was it. And then all of a sudden, based on my experience and based on all the inner work I'd done, it just appeared and all of a sudden just made sense. And so it's like for anybody that does want to know your purpose, just take the pressure off of yourself, take a deep breath. And if there's anything that you can do, it is just keep showing up for you and going in and basically dismantling the programming of who you think you're supposed to be. Because so then if you just keep doing that work, then when like this vision, like, right? And then all of a sudden it will just, synchronicities will happen in the most beautiful way. And then all of a sudden you'll be like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And it will just magically appear and it will feel so divine.
yeah.
I love that.
And I think too, like when you're saying doing the inner work, I think of how many people are agreeing with this and are going through this behind the scenes, but are staying quiet about it. There's a silent majority of people that are getting these downloads about the New Earth paradigm. They know that this is not the structure in the system that they're gonna, have forever. But a lot of them are keeping silent about it. And I think the library that we build now, even if we're just showing up and spreading the knowledge, I think if everybody did that, we get there a lot faster because we realize that we're actually not alone. even though we
Yeah.
are a small minority of people still. But the
Yeah.
more people that talk about it, the more people that show up online and talk about it, and the more people that build a library that might not get a gazillion views right now, but you're building a library and a reference point for people to go back to and binge on your stuff or learn about it some more. And the more people that are talking about it, the more it sort of rises, the more momentum it gets. So,
Well, for me, my suggestion for anybody that's scared to do content and to share what's going on in your mind. I mean, one, we need it. Like it's not meant to be just with you. Your downloads are for most, for more, for the building, for where we're going. Like it's divinely given to you and it is not supposed to just stay with you because what we are creating is a co-creation. And so we need everybody in their divine self to be able, we need to start finding each other so we can start collaborating. It's the only way. I mean, that's how consciousness works. That's how they've won the bad guys, I don't know what you want to call them, have won for so long is because they've assembled. So as soon as we start assembling and getting really clear on our intention of what we want, that energy grows and grows and grows, and all of a sudden they disappear. They will go. But that we're just in that period, I feel like, where it's about to shift there. I think that they know that. But what were you saying? Like getting those downloads, getting those visions, like your gifts, because for my vision for the future is that the whole future economy is ran by our authentic gifts, by
mhm.
something that is uniquely yours. And it will be so honored because it will be so needed. It will not be because it won't be in like the old programming of a competition. Oh, she can do that and I can only do this. No, everybody's contribution will have value
Yeah.
and it will be needed and wanted and welcome because it will fit a piece of the puzzle. And so I see like this, like I did a post recently on synergy, like, because it made it clear for me too, because I was like, okay, well, if we can have whatever we want and everyone wants the mansion and everyone wants the fancy car and not everyone wants the responsibility that comes with, say, wealth. I don't think where we're going means that there won't be wealth, but it won't be seen in the same light because to me, I have this vision of someone extremely wealthy that has so much funds, but they have those funds from a place they've already done the work. They're part of a light worker, they're part of the grid. And they go into a community and instead of going, how does this serve me and my bottom line? They ask questions like, well, what does this community need to thrive? And businesses are set up accordingly based on that. They just happen to be the backer, but they also recognize that they don't know. They don't know how this business that the community needs and how it should ran, but Sally does. Sally knows how that kind of business is ran, and we would like you to run it. And how much funds do you need to do that successfully and to also thrive in your own personal life and to provide for your family? Okay, well, we're going to do that plus more because everyone can have a lot. We can all have a lot. And then it doesn't look like, well, there's no pedestal. There's no like, well, you're rich, you're poor, because everyone's succeeding at what it is that they want.
So two things.
Yep.
The people in the new that shift into the new earth paradigm or that are anchoring in the new earth paradigm, that new grid into this, which is eventually going to switch the tides. They are going to be of a level of higher consciousness. So they are already going to be evolved to a level of consciousness where it's not me, 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 me. It's us and prosperity
Yes.
for all. And another thing, the number two thing is that it's funny with especially when people with people of that caliber of consciousness where they are consciously evolved and ascended to that level. Where the psychology is like if everybody has more than enough, there's really no reason to be the pedestal, right? People
Yeah.
only think of clawing their way to the top and they only think about me, 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 me when they are in a system where it threatens them and their livelihood or their quality of life if they don't hustle and grind like that.
Yeah. It thrives off of lack.
It's like the rats in the cocaine water. If the rats are happy in their cage, they're not gonna, there's a regular water and there's a cocaine water. They're not gonna, the happy rats don't touch the cocaine water. The unhappy rats, they only drink the cocaine water. So
Yeah.
I think, yeah. And I also, if we're gonna talk about what we wanted and that there's enough, there's an, this is, there's enough space for everybody to want what they want.
Yes.
Um,
And to contribute.
90% of people don't even know what they want, don't even think about what they want, don't have any idea what they want. And I have actually in recent years, I've gotten into conversations where out of curiosity, I ask them what they want, if they could have anything they want. And there are people that have answered with, I want a tiny home in the forest. I
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
I
But that's what I
myself,
mean.
and I myself, I wouldn't want to drive a supercar everywhere. It doesn't matter how much wealth I have. I'm probably going to drive a truck or an SUV. I don't want a supercar. I
Yep.
also don't like super big homes. I like big houses, and I like them my way. I want every single room to be
Yep.
its purpose, but I don't want just a big empty house for the sake of having a big empty house.
Exactly. I want a home and it needs to have what it needs, but a mansion for the sake of a mansion, never.
No,
Like,
there's
no, like,
everybody that I've talked to, I realize, wow, there really is enough room for all of us to have what we want. Because even if we want the same things, the way that we want them, in the unique composition that we want them, everybody has a unique blueprint that they come here with. And that unique blueprint is the currency. So, like you were saying, for each individual to know their sole purpose and to contribute that and be compensated for that, that is going to be the new earth economy. Everybody has their own unique blueprint, their own unique gifts, and that is enough. You come here with everything that you need and to contribute and live
exactly.
your passion and your purpose, and that is your currency. And it's
I've
different,
always said that. I've
buddy.
always said, like, even there could be even Margaret that loves to crochet tea cozies. And there's no comparison to the person that's maybe the energy healer because that energy healer needed the tea cozies and she is just as grateful to have them as the person that might be healing her recent ailment. Like, there's no tears. It's just your contribution, and everyone feels good because they're valued because they're who they are. The masks are gone on the pretending that I'm walking around with fancy bags and fancy things because I think I'm supposed to look like this to represent an identity. Everyone is just who they are,
So
and
that's
they're
going to fall
completely,
because Hollywood is going to fall, because the advertisements are going to fall, because the propaganda is going to fall, the whole fashion industry, the whole designer thing. I mean, that's all built on satanic shit, anyways.
I know, like, I mean, I'm telling you, like,
All of it.
I could
It's
have
all satanic.
300 million in the bank and I will still be shopping for probably bamboo cotton and it will look like I'm living in pajamas. Like,
It's just if you look at the fashion industry, it's so satanic. And if in the new Earth paradigm, we are not going to have low vibrational stuff like that be popping up anymore. You know, you look at what they're doing in Paris Fashion Week, and they're pushing the transhuman agenda. They've got satanic elites running the whole thing. It's overpriced designer bags. Like take, for example, Balenciaga, about
yeah.
all of that stuff that came out about, all the hidden messages and stuff. That is the
Mhm.
whole industry.
Yeah.
And so that's going to fall. Hollywood is going to fall. So you're not going to have these elite celebrities endorsing all these things that we're going to want to be them. There is going to be none of that. So we're all going to be like on this natural playing field where those things don't matter. It's going to shift a lot. It's going to change a lot as more of these systems crumble. Um, but yeah. Um,
And
and
don't get me wrong, I think it's fine to ask for nice things. I don't I am not for this spiritual new earth, nobody like everyone's poor. Like that's what I mean. There is abundance for all,
the
but the
reason,
abundance is what it is for you. And we're allowed to have differing, as you said, it could be the small shack in the forest. Like we all have differing what that looks like, and everyone's allowed to have it all because you are the creator and you are allowed to create whatever you want. You are allowed to have it all. And we nobody needs to judge you for having it or not because they also have theirs, which I also think will take away the importance and the competition of it. Because if you can just have whatever you want, you might realize you actually don't really give a crap.
yeah. I think I just had a thought that for those people that are like, well, how is that different than the capitalist society that we have now, where you create what you want and like, it is kind of, it draws a parallel to what we have now.
Mhm.
But if you think about it, right now we have an elite group of 1% that are just greed at the top. We also have a satanic elite that are controllers that are infiltrating every single system. They're taking money, they're mismanaging money. Like without them at the top, this is like like is overdue from the top down. And um, without these people at the top, there would be a thriving economy, and it would start to look more like what you've been um, sharing with us.
Yeah. I get what you're saying that it does look parallel, but I think when the only people going on that timeline, so the only people hanging out in the new earth and on the 5D plus timeline are people with of authenticity. And if you're authentic, you're sitting in a place of love and
Yeah,
compassion and empathy. So it's like you don't and I think that it will become extremely obvious if there's people hanging out in that space that are not.
yeah,
You will because we're also going to be where we read energy. Everybody will be reading each other's energy. So if there's ever anybody in envy and greed and competition, they will stand out. Where in the old system, that's what we have prioritized and strived for. And they've done that on purpose because it keeps us all competing with each other with our heads down, trying to block everyone out of the way. I'll get there first. They've done that intentionally. But when you come and it like you just have to invert it and you go to a place where everyone's sitting in love, you're like, oh, if you need that more than me, okay, no problem. I'm good because I also have enough. Like
yeah,
you have to realize the whole energetic exchange of it all is just completely different.
it's completely different. And it also, I mean, I heard the other day that humans are designed to be so in tune that they have telepathic communication and that they can actually feel when things are shifting. So they don't need the news to tell them that something is going to happen. They are actually able to, once they tap into their spiritual superpowers and their higher spiritual faculties, that they're able to feel when things happen. They have a built-in intuition with each other and collectively. Um,
Well, that's through the quantum space, right? That's that's what we're doing. We're communicating in a whole other way. My son even today, he said, I did something to you guys for I did something for April Fools. Because this happens all the time between me and my husband, but this is the first time I noticed it with one of my kids. And he's like, I did something for April Fools. It's just little. Because last night he goes, I'm going to dump water on your head. And we're like, not really April Fools. We're like, April Fools is kind of something subtle that then kind of tricks you,
yeah.
you know? And so he'd said that. And then it was a couple hours later, and I was going to the bathroom, and I go, I wonder if he's taken the toilet paper. And I go into the bathroom though, and the toilet paper was there. And I was like, oh, interesting. I I guess I'll see and wait. I'm still waiting to see what it was he'd done. And then we were all playing a card game later in the afternoon. And and I go, yeah, by the way, what was it that you did? And he goes, I'd taken the toilet paper. I go, you did? And he's like, yeah. And he goes, but it looks, and Dave, my husband, he's like, yeah, I guess I went in first, saw it, and just grabbed another roll. So I'd already actually tuned into the quantum that that is what he'd done. I just thought that I'd been wrong, of course, because my husband had been in there first to correct the situation. But it means I read it. Like,
Yeah.
and it will be that. We'll be communicating on a with synchronicities and through telepathy. I mean, I just read a whole bunch this week that says telepathy was always supposed to be the way we're all supposed to communicate.
Yeah, language is what came and slowed us down. Yeah, it's funny. I mean, with the veils of illusions and everything that have been dropped in my personal life, it's like I feel like I can read people even better, and I'm even seeing through more bullshit. Um, Recently, it's just been like really insane.
It's
So
frustrating, isn't it? It's sometimes not a gift. You're like,
you can't lie to me. I already,
ah,
so I'm gonna call you out on being a fake because you are, and I can see it. And the new earth is just not going to, you're not going to be able to hide like that. You're not going to be able to wear your mask because we're all going to be at a level where we're empathic and psychic enough and intuitive enough to feel your energy. Somebody like you and I, who are like psychic intuitives, you can't hide, you know? But
yeah,
not everybody's like that right now, but in the new earth paradigm, everybody is going to be that way because that is part of the whole thing about becoming more conscious and becoming and doing healing work. Um,
maybe that's part of why we're so frustrated too, though, is because we haven't all gone over here. And so on a daily basis, we're still merged, and that's draining. It is very draining and it makes you want to isolate, but we do need to stay within community. But then we need to find our people because we need to be able to spend our energy on what we're creating and not where they're, dangling our attention.
yeah,
And
that's the whole name of the
it
game right now. I think we should probably shut her down. I think it's been an hour. Start trying to keep it
agreed.
an hour.
I was social. Do you find when you're social? Okay, here's something. This past weekend, we had dinner out with some people from BC that were down here visiting, and that was great. And then the next day, also visited with a new friend that we had met. And I realized that I've only got so many hours in the social bank.
Oh
And
yeah.
it has nothing to do with them. The conversation was riveting. The conversation was engaging. I enjoyed these people immensely. Both parties enjoyed it immensely. And yet afterwards, like comatose, exhausted. So it wasn't that they were energy sucks or anything. It wasn't like that. It wasn't like they drained my energy, but I think I might have a threshold of social time.
You want to know why?
Mm.
Because you are taking in so much extra information that your average person does not take in. So if they're picking up on just audio, you're picking up on audio, facial expressions, energy, different layers, lies, every single little lie that they tell. You know, not that they're lying or anything, but that is like the level where you're
Yeah,
seeing everything and you're taking in 10,000 times more information than your average person.
that makes sense.
I'm
That makes
so
sense.
exhausted when I talk to people, especially people that are not completely authentic. When people are completely authentic, and when they're hazard to say high vibrational, but for like a lack of better words, when they are like that, I feel very inspired. But most people don't even realize. And again, I'm not saying that the people that you were talking to were not like that, but in
Mhm.
general, I find it very draining because I'm like
Yeah.
picking up on all these different levels.
Well, and that's what I think I even mean with you and I. Like even right now, we're both like, I think we've like we come to a threshold of And maybe it is because our conversation is not surface. As you said, this is not just audio.
And you got to
And
think,
so when you're,
oh,
and you also just said too, like telepathy was how we were supposed to talk. And so it's taking so much more energy with the verbal, let alone
yeah.
with all the other cues and with all the thinking. Like to me, it's all the downloads and everything that are coming through us at all times.
Celeste, you also got to think we are working a double, sometimes a triple shift. So we are working our jobs, then we are working on saving the world and the new earth paradigm, and then we even go into our dreams and work there. So we are like
Oh,
working three times as hard as your
I,
average person that's just like, I'm gonna work my 9 to 5 and then I'm gonna crack a beer and watch some TV. So yeah,
that's Dave. He's like, I just slept for a good solid 6 hours and I'm exhausted. And I'm like, oh, you were busy last night. What
yeah,
realm did you go into and get busy on? Like, it's so true.
yeah.
I
It's,
know.
it's a very weird existence here on this planet. I'll say that.
That's one way to say it.
Not everybody understands.
Oh. Oh, and that's why we want to show up and do these calls because I know that it's not just you and I feeling this way or
Yeah,
that relates to what we're saying and understands to be in this kind of position. And I just don't want people to feel alone in this. And then and then we all got to start finding each other.
yeah.
Yeah.
Light workers, come find us. Okay, babe.
I love you.
I love you.
Hey, I talk to you later.
Okay, sounds good. Bye.